Teacher Jen. Hello, boys and girls. I'm Teacher Jen, and welcome to my classroom. Today, we will read a book titled A Dozen Pair of Shoes. The story is by Louis P. Gatmaitan, MD, illustrated by Beth Parrocha, and the English translation is by Grace D. Chong. My father was a shoemaker. The shoes he made were really famous in our town. A lot of people would come to us to have their shoes made. From what we heard, my father's shoes were so much better than the shoes made in Marikina. They were durable, the workmanship was excellent, and their designs truly creative.
Where on earth do you get your ideas for those styles? They're so pretty. Looks like the shoe fairy comes to visit you. You must have magic in your hands.
With all these praises, my tatay would only half smile. He was a quiet man. He rarely ever spoke. I grew up amidst the many shoes my father made. My friends and classmates often wished they were in my shoes. They said I was lucky to have a shoemaker for a father. Why, I always had a new pair for every occasion. School opening, Christmas, my birthday, or when I was awarded class honors at school. My tata even made me extra pairs of shoes from leftover leather and fabric. I wish I were you, Karina. You always have new shoes, complained one of my classmates. Me, I get hand-me-downs from my big sister. I only wear the shoes that don't fit her anymore. I was already in second grade when my mother became pregnant again. We'd waited so long to have another baby in the family. My lola said that their prayers for me to have a kid, brother or sister, had been answered. Oh, pretty soon I will have someone to share my shoes with. But that's okay. I know Tatay will always make enough shoes for both of us. While the baby was still in my mother's tummy, I heard my mother and father talking. I just had my checkup. The doctor said we're having a baby girl.
That's great. If it's a girl, we'll have her take up ballet lessons. I'd really like to have a ballerina in the family. I will start learning how to make ballet shoes.
But my father's dream didn't come true. When we saw my baby sister for the first time, we were all shocked. She had no feet. It was as if her 2 feet had been cut off. Rumors began to spread. Because of how my sister looked, people started saying lots of nasty things. Some said my mother had tried to get rid of her baby, so my sister ended up with incomplete body parts. Or that my mother had taken some harmful pills that melted my sister's feet. Or that the shoe fairy cursed my father because the shoes he makes have gotten more expensive. Or maybe my mother had an unusual liking for dolls while she was pregnant. Nanay, why doesn't Susie have feet? I had an infection, anak. I caught German measles while your sister was growing in my tummy. And that affected her, my mother shared sadly. My sister will never be a ballerina. Tatay will be very disappointed. I thought about this every day, every time I'd see Susie without her feet. That's why I persuaded Nanay to enroll me in ballet school. Even though I didn't really like ballet. But ma'am, why don't you let Karina take up piano lessons instead? Or maybe painting? Or enroll her in a bandurria class? I don't think dancing is for her, my ballet teacher suggested to my mother. I felt let down, not for myself, but for my tatay and Susie, and for all those dreams that could never come true. I saw how my father and mother loved Susie. They were always ready to keep her from harm. Once, while we were having a picnic at the park, there was this guy who saw Susie. Pointing at her, he exclaimed,
Hey, look! That kid will make a good freak show at the carnival.
My father turned red. He clenched his fists. That was the first time I ever saw his eyebrows meet.
What's your problem, huh?
He almost hit the guy. Good thing my mother stopped him just in time. While in bed one night, I heard Tatay talking sweetly to Susie.
Anak, feet or no feet, your nanay and I love you very much. You are special in God's eyes. What's important to us is that you grow up to be a good person, one who values herself highly.
He kissed her warmly. Mwah! Father never stopped making shoes for me, but I could tell that each time he measured my feet, his eyes would drift toward my sister's crib. Oh, Bunso, it's too bad that you will never know how it feels to wear the beautiful shoes our tatay makes, I whispered to Susie. Susie and I were really close while growing up. It didn't matter to me that she had no feet. That never stopped us from playing together. We played a lot of games that didn't need the use of feet. She always beat me in sungka, jackstone, Scrabble, and pitik bulag. When some people would tease her, I would defend her. I was her wheelchair attendant, her personal assistant. That was when I realized my sister and I were alike in so many ways. We were both better with our hands than with our feet. I was good at painting, she was good at writing stories and poetry. Wait, there was Nanay, who was good at crochet and sewing clothes. And oh, our tatay was also good with his hands. We were a family whose hands were more powerful than our feet. One time, Susie woke me up to tell me about her dream, about a most unusual pair of shoes that looked great on her feet. She has feet in her dreams? I wondered to myself. Believe me, ate, I dreamed of a beautiful pair of shoes. It's made of yellow patent leather adorned with a sunflower up front, and it fits my feet perfectly. She was about to celebrate her birthday then. I also noticed that at the eve of her birthdays, she would always dream of a pair of shoes. Ate, I dreamed of another pair of shoes. It's made of red velvet with a big side buckle. In succeeding years, she told me about the open-toed blue shoes from where her toes would peep out, the white shoes with short heels and a red bow, the denim shoes embroidered with the moon and stars, the sandals that looked like a fishing net, the purple shoes with the round crystal attached near the toe. It never ceased to amaze me how she could remember even the tiniest detail of the shoes in her dreams. The flowers, ribbons, buttons, sequins, beads, or buckles. Ate, when I grow up, I'm going to write a story about all the shoes in my dreams, and you'll draw them for me, okay? After a few years, my father retired from making shoes. Except for orders from his suki, he simply couldn't refuse. When he celebrated his birthday, my gift to him was one of my paintings, a pair of heavily veined hands making shoes. Susie gave him a small music box with a ballerina. You made your father very happy, Nanay said. Shortly after that, Tatay became sickly. Susie was 12 when Tatay left us. One day, I happened to wander to the bodega, looking for old shoes that I could donate to the orphanage. While searching, I found a box that looked as though it hadn't been touched for some time. Opening it, I found several shoe boxes neatly piled on top of each other. Who owns these shoes? Are they undelivered orders? I asked myself. But when I looked closely at the shoes, I was startled. They were my father's best designs, and they came in different sizes. There was a pair of baby shoes, baptismal shoes, leisure shoes, school shoes, church shoes, party shoes. I was even more startled when I read the dedication on the small tags attached to each box of shoes.
For my dearest Susie, on her first birthday.
I peered inside the boxes one at a time. Every single pair of shoes was for Susie. So my father had been making shoes for Susie all this time?
For Susie, joy of my life, as she celebrates her 7th birthday.
Year after year, my father never missed making a pair of shoes for Susie on her birthday. I counted the boxes. Kids, help me count all the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 boxes of shoes all in all.
Especially for my dearest Bunso, on the occasion of her 12th birthday.
I burst out crying when I saw the shoes. I hadn't realized till then how deep Tatay's love was. I brought the 12 pairs of shoes to my mother and Susie. I had no idea that your father had been making shoes for you, Susie. Tears formed in my mother's eyes. He kept it a secret from me. Ate, these are the shoes I dreamed about. Susie couldn't believe her eyes as she caressed each shoe. Suddenly, I remembered all the shoes that Susie had described to me in the past. Yellow patent leather shoes with a sunflower up front. Red velvet shoes with a big side buckle. Blue open-toed shoes with her toes peeping out. White shoes with short heels and a red bow. Denim shoes embroidered with the moon and stars. sandals that looked like a fishing net, purple shoes with a round crystal near the toe. In my mind, I thought, did Tatay's love cross over, reaching out to Susie's dreams so she could wear the shoes he made for her? I'm not really sure. What I'm sure about is this. Life is not perfect. Just look at the way my sister was created. But there are perfect moments. Like the moments when Tatay created the most wonderful shoes for Susie. Now it's your turn. Self-reflection. Karina's family shows love for each other in different ways. Their father made his best shoes for his daughters. Their mother supported Karina in her request to enroll in ballet school. Karina helped push Susie's wheelchair. In what ways do you show your love to your family? Susie's disability did not stop her from having a happy childhood because her family loved her. Do you know someone who looks different or is treated differently by other people? In what ways can you show your support to him or her? As children, Karina and Susie played a lot of games. Sungka, Jackstone, Scrabble, Pitik Bulag. Which of these games have you played before? What are your favorite Filipino games? Who do you usually play with? Great job, boys and girls! You are super fantastic! If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Let me know in the comments below what else you would like to learn about the Philippines.